Hello, and welcome back to the channel, and to another episode of Random Rants, a series on the channel where if I have a topic and 15 minutes or so of recording time to kill, I will make a video about it. Random Rants are different because they don't follow a specific formula like my other content on the channel, and most of my Random Rants aren't usually scripted like my other videos, but this one is going to be different, and you'll see why later. I actually had a lot of topic ideas as to what I want to talk about, and what I was going to speak on for both Random Rants and the other shows on my channel, but something happened recently that made me want to record this video and prioritize this over all my other projects that I'm currently working on because it's that important to me and what I believe. And I couldn't bring myself to post any other videos or do anything else until I addressed this issue first. And this issue is about something that happened a few days ago. And that issue is about skating. More specifically, me and a skateboard. You see, unlike a few of my fellow coworkers, I like to skate after work rather than skating during the workday. So sometimes when I'm done with everything for the day and I get off work, I like to just ride my skateboard around until I get to like a local coffee shop where I can just research, write, and record the upcoming content for the videos on my channel and whatever else I plan on doing. Where I live, there is a rule where riders need to have a helmet to use their bikes, skateboards, hoverboards, rollerblades, scooters, and ripsticks, if you even remember what those things are. And I didn't know about that rule until the neighborhood watch patrol officer, who we will be calling Mr. May 1 for the purpose of this story. He got out of his car and he stopped me to tell me that I needed a helmet if I was gonna be riding my skateboard out in the city. I was like, okay, cool, I'll go buy one next time I'm out. And I did. Problem solved. Or at least, that's how the story was supposed to end. You see, after work one day, I was in a rush and couldn't find my helmet, so I just decided to head out on my board since the coffee shop I usually go to was just around the corner and it wasn't even a 5-minute ride away from where I was. However, just like pineapple on pizza, I would soon realize that this was a terrible mistake that must never be repeated. Right before I get to the coffee shop, I hear the sound of sirens in the background. I'm like, dang, I guess they're responding to a real problem. I hope no one gets hurt. And I kept on riding until I realized that the sirens weren't going any faster than I was, and when I turned around, that they were for me, and I was the issue that they were responding to. I stopped riding and immediately turned to see the driver of the squad car, and of course, it was none other than Mr. Maywon and his partner. Maywon told me that he had already warned me about the helmet situation, and that now, because I was riding my board again without a helmet, that they needed to search me to make sure I didn't have any weapons for some reason, and then they just let me go. So I'm like, cool, okay, that's it, that's done. I don't have to deal with that situation anymore. I'll just be sure I wear a helmet next time. I didn't get arrested, I didn't get detained, and nothing bad actually happened to me, and it was just kind of a forceful warning, so I kind of just took it as, alright, cool, I'll just make sure not to do that again. Problem solved, and kind of just kept it moving. However, someone from my job that we're gonna call Ato for this story saw all this take place across the street. But I didn't know that Ato saw me until the next day when I came into work and my immediate senior supervisor, who we will be calling Mr. Wallace for this video, told me to see him in his office so we could discuss what had happened the day before. Now, Mr. Wallace is a pretty serious man for the most part and is very rule-oriented, but he also does care about the people who work directly under him, and whenever I talk to him or bring up my issues to him, he will actually listen to what I have to say instead of trying to box me in with loaded questions or make assumptions on things that either never happened or just aren't true, which is perhaps the biggest thing I respect about him that I don't see enough from other people that I work with. But anyway, during the conversation, I started to realize that the consequences for riding without a helmet really didn't matter to me because I have insurance and if something happens, I will be covered. However, what I did notice was the fact that this situation was a result of my very own hypocrisy. Let me explain. So, I'm pretty big on integrity and follow through in my work. At the department store that I work at, the work we do is far from the most groundbreaking or innovative, like I would prefer it to be, or what I'd prefer to be doing. But when I do a job, I usually do that job to the best of my ability, and I don't stop until it's done, unless of course there are outside factors that would inhibit my ability to complete said job or task. Obviously, there are going to be some jobs and tasks that I dread and don't really agree with the procedure of instructions at my store, because I feel they're either redundant or simply impractical. But I will still give it my best effort and do them to the best of my ability when I have the opportunity to do so. And an issue that I seem to come across almost daily is the hypocrisy in the workplace, and how some people will just pick and choose which rules they want to follow and which ones to ignore, how some people will report someone for breaking a rule, while making the conscious choice to break the same rule the next day simply because they can. And it's actually because of a certain workplace hypocrisy issue that my least favorite person at my job is my least favorite person to interact with at the store during the day, whom we will call Legne for the purpose of this video. But that's a different video and a different story for another day. However, I bring up the reason why this coworker of mine is my most hated coworker, for me anyway, in this situation, because this situation makes me feel as if I'm no better than her due to making the choices to not wear my helmet to ride a skateboard or creating a situation on my own hypocrisy, where on the job I say that upholding a standard is important, while off work I ignore a safety rule for my own convenience. Now, is that really a one-to-one comparison as to what me and the hypocrisy that Legne's done? Obviously you don't know, but the correct answer is no, not at all actually. However, the situation between myself and my least favorite coworker do stand out enough, in my opinion, so that I can make the connection between the two. And honestly, when I was talking to Mr. Wallace about this, it made me feel really gross and disgusted that I would be anything like her, since I really don't like her and her own hypocrisy. So, knowing and acknowledging my own is not the easiest pill to swallow when it just reminds me that I did something even remotely similar to her. It's not always easy for someone to admit that they were wrong, but I know that I'm correct more often than not, so it's not a big deal for me to accept being incorrect every once in a while. And this is definitely one of those times where I was wrong once in a while, and I'm fine with admitting that because I think that it's important to do so. But beyond being wrong was the fact that I became a hypocrite, just like Legne, the moment that I made the choice to ride my skateboard without a helmet, even though at that point I knew that I wasn't supposed to, but just decided to ignore the rule for my own convenience. And the idea of that makes me pretty uncomfortable and really gross, and I don't like that at all. And I will be the first to admit that I really couldn't care less about the helmet rule, but I will be following the rule in future at all times. Not because of the fact that some cops pulled me over, even though they didn't arrest me, or that Mr. Wallace, my senior supervisor, told me that I should not do that again, but because of the fact that when I did do that, I became no better than my least favorite coworker, and I will never allow myself to be put in a situation where I can be even remotely compared to her again, even if the only person making that comparison is me. Because I need to uphold that same integrity in my own spare time that I do whenever I'm at work. I don't know if you even watch my channel, May 1, or you as well, Mr. Wallace, but I would like to apologize to you both for my lack of regard and safety of myself, and also for this blemish on my character and my credibility. I'm sure most of you don't even know or care about that, but my credibility is pretty important to me, as is my integrity at work. The only reason I even made this video was to remind myself that I should never compromise my own integrity for the sake of complacency, and even though others may be doing things different, I should hold myself to a higher standard, which is also something that Mr. Wallace told me as well when we had that conversation a couple days ago. While I will improve from this mistake, I want this to be a reminder to myself not to forget the most important thing of all that I've learned from all this, which is that I really hate dealing with Legne. Beyond all the minor jokes I try to make to keep this a bit entertaining for you all, I do want to get the point across that I will make an effort to do better. I'm sure you hear about YouTubers getting into controversy all the time for wild and insane scandals, and they all make an apology video that's honestly not even genuine or sincere. Well, here's my very first apology video, and it was because I was using a skateboard without a helmet. Even if I mess up, I want to be able to own it and do the right thing again when I get the chance to, whether that be on the internet or in real life, because that's the kind of channel and the kind of person that I want to be. A person with integrity and a channel with credibility. So even if I mess up, I'll be the first one to call myself out, so that way no one can call me out before that I do, so that way you know that when I do make a mistake, I do care about it, and I will admit when I'm wrong, because I think that's an important quality to have, because it shows that you are willing to change and grow and develop. And that's kind of it for what I have for you guys as far as that story goes, so yeah. I want to say that I am surprised with the growth of my channel and the attention my newer projects are getting, but that I'm very thankful as well. I never expected that my very first video to hit 200 views would be my Velma analysis, nor did I think that would be my very first video to hit 100 views on the same day that I uploaded it. I was kind of hoping that honor would go to my Sakamoto video, but alas, that was not the case. However, my Sakamoto video was the first video on my channel to reach 100 views at all, so that's cool too. I just can't believe my most popular video is my Velma video. Even though I don't post much, I am enjoying the process of making all of my projects, and I'm hoping to have even more fun with these next few videos. And I hope that you are ready for them too. Every show on the channel is going to be receiving at least 1, maybe 2 new episodes this month. So if you have a show that you like on here, don't worry, there will be a new installment of it if it's not out already. However, that's where I'm going to leave off for now. Thanks for staying until the end, and a big thank you to all 51 of the voices in my head for getting me to this point. Tell me what you thought about this video, and what you want to see me talk about next time. But, until that next time arrives, I'm Inviso Bill, and that's all for my spill. Like, comment, hit subscribe, you'll never know when, but I'll see you next time.